Hey everybody, it's Michael Nelson with the Cogent Consulting Group here. In this video we're going to talk about the foundation of small business marketing. This is going to be the first in a series of, I haven't decided yet, probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 videos where I want to remove the mystery of marketing. Let's get rid of the notion that marketing is just this black box activity where magic happens and you either get clients or you get nothing and don't know where your money went. We're going to make sense of it. We're going to look at it in a structured way, just like any other business activity. And at the end of this series, you're really going to understand how to look at marketing, how to consider what you should do, how to look at, is it working, is it not working, is it the right expense, is it the right time, and you're going to be able to do this on your own. I've had some folks ask me why I'm doing this, because obviously marketing and coaching with small businesses to help them succeed is what we do as well as a business. And my answer is, helping people is, I think, the best thing you can do, and it always comes back around. And there are millions upon millions of small businesses in the United States alone, millions and millions more in the rest of the world. I can't work with everyone, obviously, not even a small proportion of that. So the more people that I help, the better I feel, and the better off I think we all are, because there's nothing better than being a small business owner and experiencing success. It's fantastic, and I want to help as many people as possible reach those goals. Let's dive right in. I'm going to talk to you about the marketing triangle. Every video needs a good shape to rely on, and just coined this. I'm sure there's other versions out there, but for our purposes, I want to use the triangle, the marketing triangle, to look at how we're going to set up marketing. So there's our triangle. The first thing we want to consider, and it's almost always left out, is goals. What exactly are you trying to achieve by marketing? And when you market, you're spending time, you're spending money maybe, probably both of those things. And by spending that time and that money, you're not able to do something else with that time and that money. So marketing isn't free by any means. And therefore, why are you doing it? You have to have goals associated with that outpouring of resources so that you can track everything in a methodical manner and make sure it makes sense for your business. The next one is analysis. This one is so ignored. Or in big business, it's so overdone that there's the paralysis by analysis. And really, by analysis, what are we talking about? Well, before we spend a dime, let's understand what we can about our business, about our competitors, about the environment that we're operating in, about the consumers we're trying to reach, and let's see what we can put together to help us guide the building of our plan and to reach those goals that we've now set. And then the fun part, the execution. How do you actually go out and do it? And while you're doing it, how do you make sure that you understand if it's working, if it needs adjusting? How do you track this, record this, so that the next time you market, you don't make the same mistakes again? And it all happens in the execution phase. And these are all critical. You take out any one of these, you do any one of these poorly, or if anyone you hire to help you with marketing does any one of these poorly, you're not going to get the results that you need or deserve. You combine all these things, you do them right, and you're going to have successful marketing. It's not magic, it's just putting together a few things that are absolutely essential, doing them right, and then you're going to be good to go. So let's start diving in a little bit deeper to each one of those areas, and that's what we'll do in this video. So goals. Everyone's heard the study that I think was at Harvard, where 2% of the student body was looked at, say, 20, 30 years later. Actually, the whole student body, was surveyed, and they found that 20 or 30 years later, 2% of them had out-earned the rest of the 98 put together, and those were the people who wrote down goals. Now, obviously, there's more to it than that, because you have to have some sort of internal motivation that required you to sit down and write those goals and then carry them out, but it still emphasizes how powerful goals are. So, what are you trying to do? And then, how do you know if you're successful? I mean, it's one thing to market and say, oh, I got fantastic returns, but based against what? Were they the best returns you could have gotten for that expenditure? Were they because of your marketing? Was it a holiday that came along and really your marketing had nothing to do with it? Your goals are essential to help you start figuring out how to track things, how to measure your success. And there's ways to do goals. There's a ton of different goal setting methodologies out there. I went with the easiest one. This has been around forever, and it's a simple way to review your goals. You don't even have to set your goals with this in mind, but you set a goal and then just wash over it with these and see if they make sense within the context of SMART goals. And the SMART is S-M-A-R-T. It's just a quick way to remember it, a mnemonic. So specific. Don't be general. Don't be wishy-washy. Put your stake in the ground and say, I want 10 new customers this month from this promotion. Don't just say, I want more customers, because then if you get one, well, technically you've got more, but that might not be a successful marketing campaign. You want to be specific. Measurable. Again, that example I gave, I want more customers. Well, you can measure that, but how do you compare it to anything? Because your goal, more, all that is an arbitrary increase off of where you are today. And so it really doesn't help you. But say 10 customers, well, now I can measure that. I can see if I got 5, 9, 15, and I can measure and tell if I reach my goals. Attainable. It's always great to have reach goals. And if you've ever been on a bonus program, you know what I'm talking about here. That they expect you to colonize the moon by next September if you're going to get 100% of your bonus, and that's supposed to motivate you somehow. Make sure your goals are attainable. If you have 5 clients right now, and that's got you working at about 80%, really you can only have a couple more before you need to do something within your business. So don't say, my goal is to capture 20 clients in the next month, because even if you were able to do that, it would really mess up your business. So make sure that your goals are attainable. Relevant. Okay, don't set goals that aren't applicable to your business. If you sell, I don't know, tennis balls and sports equipment, don't have a goal to all of a sudden become a chiropractor or measure your success in bringing in chiropractic patients, or there's something crazy like that. That's a terrible example. But you can see your goals should be relevant to your business, to what you're doing, and make sense and timely. Have an end. Just like a project has a start date and an end date. So when you're running a marketing campaign, maybe it's a 2-month campaign, and maybe that works for you. Maybe you're a small new business, maybe even 1 month is a time frame that you're looking at because you're pushing out products quickly and you're checking them. If you're a bigger firm, maybe you're running a 4-month, 6-month campaign. But make sure you put a time on it, because that's how you're going to measure it. That's how you're going to look at your budget expenditure. That's how you're going to look at, did a lot of people come in up front and then it died off because we got all the exposure and then people are sort of dead to it? Make sure it's timely. Okay, so these SMART goals, quick way to establish your goals. Analysis. Here we go. This is one that gets ignored an awful lot. Do your research so that you can make informed decisions. There's that joke about, the guy was such a good salesman, he could sell ice to Eskimos. Well, that's great. That guy's a 1 in a million salesman. You don't want to have a lack of research leading you to make decisions that make you the person sitting in the stand next to that person trying to sell ice to Eskimos and really out of luck. So I'm going to introduce to you a marketing mix method. This has been around for decades. It's been added to, subtracted from. Here's the basic way to look at all the different elements that you should incorporate or at least think of in your marketing. The product, and this should be product or service, right? What are you selling? What are its characteristics? What does it do? A product, if you describe it, those are its features, slices, dices, etc. If you think about Ginsu knives, well, that's great. What's that do? That's a feature. People buy benefits. So what's the benefit? Maybe it chops faster, cleans faster, saves them time. Now you're talking, benefits, and you're understanding your product a little bit better. Place. Where are you going to put this product? Is it in a store? Do people have to come to you to buy it? Can they find it in an online catalog? Do you deliver service work on your client's site? Know this so that when the question comes up or it's a part of your messaging, it's clear. Promotion. Okay, now this is where people start thinking more of marketing or advertising even. Where are you going to run your marketing? Are you doing billboards? Are you stuffing envelopes and sending things off? Are you buying into a coupon mailer or a local advertising piece? Do you have maybe money to get on a local television station? Billboard, online, pay-per-click, pay-per-view, Facebook. Where are you going to get the word out about this particular promotion that you're doing? What are the channels that it's going out in? The price. What's the price for your product or service? Are you willing to discount it? If so, how much? Don't leave these things to the end when people are there pressuring you about it. You may drop your price way too much. You may have it overset right now if you haven't done your analysis so high that no one's willing to buy it. The value isn't enough for the problem it solves, for instance. The customer. Well, wouldn't it be great to know a little bit about our customer? If you think about copywriters, they take a customer, a market segment, and they actually will say, you know, this is a male named Bob who's 45, who wears khakis and blue shirts and brown leather loafers, married, 3 kids, likes to do X, Y, and Z on the weekend, and is really looking for a change. They'll go so far as to create that persona, know that customer inside and out. How much do they make? Where do they go? Who are their friends? Knowing everything they can about them so that they can actually write specific to them, so they can pick the promotion places that this group is going to see. Then your competition. Who are you competing against for these customers? Where are they marketing? You know, are they all over town on billboards? Well, if so, maybe putting up one billboard isn't going to do you much. It's going to get lost in all the other ones that they have up. So you may want to look at a different channel. Maybe you see in a different town someone that would be a competitor in the same town who's done something very successful that you want to try and work into your campaigns. Or maybe you try and do something that's similar but different enough to what your competitor's doing. But take it into account. Don't do the same thing, and don't go blind out there and get, you know, 0 results because you didn't pay attention. So which one's the most important? For me, hands down, it's the customer. If we don't know the customer, if we're not solving a problem for the customer, if we're not thinking from the customer's perspective instead of our perspective, we're not going to get very far. So what does a customer want? What does a customer need? What are they willing to pay for? What are their problems? What solution are you providing that takes care of that problem for them? That's where you're going to start your success. Okay, we get into execution. And no fancy transitions on this one, just right in front of you. This is a Venn diagram, for those of you who don't know, and where all 3 circles overlap in the middle, that's that's the sweet spot, where all 3 of these come together and are operating well. So you plan, you create your marketing plan. It has all your analysis in it. And the reason you put it in there is because when you put this plan away along with the results that you had, you can pull it out later and say, this is what we did, this is what the results were, here's how we tracked it. We don't want to do this again, or we want to run this one every year at this time because it works great. The plan will also have how much are you going to spend. It will have the timeline you expect to see results in. It'll talk about your partners that you're using, or who you're outsourcing to, or who in the firm is responsible for it, what customers you're trying to reach, etc. It'll provide report templates that you're going to use for this particular one, coupon codes maybe. Then you have the budget and timeline. So once you have the plan has your budget in it. Now watch that budget. Are you spending in accordance with that budget? Or are you over budget, under budget? And how does that compare to your timeline? If you have a 3-month promotion, your budget's gone after the first week. Does that first week of expense carry through 3 months, or have you just blown the whole promotion by oversaturating and then having nothing? So pay attention to that. And then measuring and tracking is critical. If we're going to spend money, if we're going to spend time on marketing, we really need to know, what do we get back for that? And there's ways to track people that come in via the internet. There's ways to track people that come in via phone calls, whether they're from different sources and you're using tracking numbers. There's ways to track coupon codes. You can use QR codes that have, you know, the source and everything embedded in it, so when someone brings something in, you know exactly where they found it. They're not hard to do and change so that they're unique for each promotion. And that way you can tell, I spent $100 here, and in the end, I made $300, and I can track it exactly so. There's always going to be places that you can't track. You know, people will forget where they saw you, or they saw you in 2 different places, or they're not interested in answering that question when you ask them. They just want to pay and leave. But you're going to be able to start to get a real good feel for how a promotion is doing. And so that, I think, is going to wrap it up for this video. I want to keep it short and sweet. Like I said, I'm going to do a number of videos, and I think for the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Google Plus local websites. These are websites that Google creates for us. Every single business that Google finds, and I think this is true, at least the areas that I've worked in with this particular service in the United States, Canada, Ireland, the United Kingdom, Australia, New Zealand, Google goes out and it searches all the local directories. It looks in everything it can find for businesses, and when it finds one, it sets a website up for you. Now, what's great about it? Well, it's Google. Google is the major search engine that's out there. It has 80–90% of the search engine traffic, and it gives itself a leg up against the competition. So if you do this, the methodologies we talk about and how to set it up next time, you're actually giving Google what it wants to help your business show up in the search results. So this is real important, and I'm going to actually get into how to find your site, how to register for your site, what should be on it, what you absolutely don't want on it, and how this is all going to work together 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while you're sleeping, doing nothing else, to attract customers to your website, to your store, to call you, etc. So that's in store for next time. If you like the video, do me a favor. Put a comment on this page if you're seeing it on my blog. If you're seeing it on YouTube, write me a quick note on YouTube. Let me know what you thought. Is it valuable for you? Was the stuff you knew? Was it too basic? Just give me some comments. I'd love to hear some feedback from you about it. And please share this. You'll see if it's on, again, on my blog up on top of the page, as well as the bottom places to share it on LinkedIn and Twitter and Facebook. Help me get the word out. This is a free video series, and I want to help as many people as possible with it. So I hope you have a fantastic day. I'm looking forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.